grand final, but Lewis does the hard yards, really. I turn up and take a drop goal, or a penalty kick, I should say. Lewis puts in the work all through the season, chats to players, managers, follows this great sport throughout the year. And we've ended up a proper final once again, because the two top clubs and last year's final, a repeat of, which will definitely be strong in the mind. How have you enjoyed the build-up, Lewis?
I think it's been fantastic. We love a story, don't we? And the thing about the Betfred Super League and the structure of the playoffs is that you're in the top 6, you've got a chance of being here. That said, when you get a scenario like this, which is first versus second, two teams that have been hammer and tong all season, not just against the rest of the league, but at each other. There's a history building here as well because of last season's grand final. I just think every little layer you add kind of builds into it, and I have to say, I'm finding it almost a little bit unnerving that I'm stood next to you on grand final day, and when it's not hailstones or wind
yeah,
or
I know.
wet. I've normally got my big coat on at this point and we're freezing cold. But this is like, the Challenge Cup final was like a November day. It's like October day, it's like we've switched. But no, in terms of what's going to happen on the field, I think we've ended up with a wonderful final. We've obviously followed it all season. It's obviously something that's built and built and built, and it looks like a point, maybe sort of June, July, we'd be talking about a whole KR kind of runaway train. That's not really happened. Wigan have kind of pulled them back in a bit, and we might just see a little bit of that today. Willie Peet spoke in the week about not going into their shell when they get opportunities. That's definitely, from the outside looking in, what happened last season. It's definitely an easy thing to say. This is one hell of a stage to try and stay on your mettle, though.
So, from the players' mindset then, because Wigan have been here and done it many times before, although Hull KR have won the league, Wigan have that sort of aura about them that just manage to win things, don't they? Whereas Hull are still the new kids on the block in some regard, or most recently. How do they step up and be like, no, we are here to win, yes, we can do it in a grand final, yes, we can beat Wigan?
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak from an outside perspective. I've not played in the grand final yet. I'm 30, I've got 2 bad knees, but you never know when it's going to be your chance. But I just think from that perspective, Hull KR have got to come out here and be themselves. Yeah. They've been a wonderful team all season. They deserve to be top of the league after 27 rounds. All right, I don't want to call that challenge, but they got a little bit of fortune at the end of a tight final to win. They've got to come here and remind themselves all of those things. That they finished top of the league. They've been the most consistent side. It's easy to look at this Wigan team who get to October, September every year and turn into world beaters and go, oh, how are we going to do this? But Hull KR, I think, have just got to focus on, no, we finished top. Yeah. We should be favourites by birthright this season. From a Wigan perspective, it's just what you expect them to do, isn't it? And Matty Peet is so relaxed all the time. Sean O'Loughlin has played in so many of these. Tommy Lulawai has played in so many of these. And now their players are playing in their 3rd in a row. So this, for them, will feel very familiar. I think the danger, I guess, for a Hull KR perspective is that if Wigan score early, very good at choking a team out. Yeah. If Hull KR can, figuratively speaking, come out and give Wigan a punch on the nose early on, well, it really is on at that point.
I asked just because I've been out and about today in town and I've been out with the fans before. Unlike yourself, I'm not a rugby league pundit. I'm here to enjoy the occasion, the great sport that it is. It's fast-paced, it's explosive. I love these nights. But the vibe I got in town, Wigan were confident, Hull fans were excited, but they were nervous. Nobody really latched onto it and said, this is our year, we can do it. So that seems to sort of transpire through the fans as well.
I think there is a bit of, from a Hull KR perspective, until they've won one, you almost don't want to carry away. I spoke to Luke Gale earlier, and I don't want to kind of make too many comparisons to a lot of different circumstances, but if you remember 2017 and that Castleford Tigers side who just blitzed everyone all year and then got here and fell apart, I think if you're a Hull KR fan, that's the fear, isn't it? That you've been so good all season and you get to this stage and it doesn't happen.
Like you said, until it happens, you do hold your chips a bit closer to your chest, don't you?
That said, the big difference, I think, compared to that is that Castleford team just hit their straps in one unbelievable season. That might be slightly harsh, but this Hull KR team, really, you can look back to when Willie Peters came into the club 3 years ago, maybe even before that, to see when things started to build. there's a lot of narratives to this. I think there's going to be a lot of attention on Mikey Lewis. Maybe he'll step up and have the game of his life, but maybe he can soak up a bit of that attention and let some of the players outside him step up and have their day.
Yeah. You've been out and about doing interviews throughout the course of this season, but on the build-up to tonight, more importantly, is there anything that stands out in your mind? Anything that somebody said that you thought, wow, you really took note of it?
I come back to that point that Willie Peet has made about not going into their shell. They had a couple of sets in good positions last season where they probably played within themselves when they should have attacked more. That said, both coaches, both teams are so relaxed, which I find remarkable, because if I was in their shoes, I'd be bouncing off the walls at this point. I don't support either of these sides. I'm not playing I turn up today. I was a little bit nervous. Yeah. It kind of has that effect on you.
Yeah.
But I think Matty Peet, again, he's been here. His side have got the muscle memory. His side of the team that have won this 2 years in a row. So he kind of has that license to be relaxed. And I think Willie Peters, maybe behind closed doors, is quite fiery, but certainly when you speak to him, it's a pretty cool character. So neither are giving too much away.
Last year, would it be fair to say it was a little bit cagey? Do you think we'll get the same tonight? What sort of game do you think we're going to get?
I think this will be one of the big learnings, certainly from a Hull KR perspective, in that you can try and shut Wigan down, but they have Joe Field. So you can shut them down for 79 minutes and 30 seconds. It might not be enough. Hull KR need to come out here and give as good as they get and throw the ball around and play a bit of rugby league. They've got the conditions for it. And from a Wigan perspective, they'll probably say the same. They're going to want to get points on the board. I think you can get bogged down into a final, and Hull KR have probably learnt now how to play in that scenario. So I think cagey was the word last year. I would also say it was a hailstorm.
Yeah, conditions were different, weren't they? We could get some really sexy rugby on this.
Yeah. And there's one thing about Old Trafford which I think is a very different thing to say a Wembley final or a playoff. These in-goals are very, very short. Yeah. If you're kicking along the ground, you've got to be inch perfect. That's even harder in a downpour. Teams generally have to go to the skies. Today's a little bit dry, they might be able to get a bit more grip on the ball, but it does affect our teams play kind of 20 yards away from the line. So that's tactically, I think that's a difference.
Who wins the battle in the middle for you? Who's tougher?
I mean, they're both unbelievably tough. There's a rugby league kind of romantic in me that loves stories that would love to see Jared Warrior-Hargreaves in the last game of what's been an outstanding career rip it up. But also, there's an England fan in me that knows we're playing in Australia in 2 weeks' time that would love to see, Luke Thompson have the game of his life on the grand final. He knows this place very well. So that battle in the middle, I'm sitting on the fence here, Frankie, if you can't tell.
No, that's more than okay. And it will probably be like that. It'll be tit for tat, won't it?
I think what you're going to get is the first 10, 15 minutes, quite a few, and again, figuratively speaking, hopefully, haymakers being thrown. We'll see who deals with it best. But the boys in the middle, there's a lot of size, there's a lot of power, and quick play-the-balls could be the kind of currency that wins the game. Hull KR, I think, will eye this up and say, let's start fast.
Like it. We'll look forward to that. Finally, what's it like here tonight? For those that can't make it, we encourage you always to try and get down, because it is a magical night. And Super League, Betfred do such a good job of the pre-theatre. We've got the Pigeon Detectives. We had their sound check earlier. They were brilliant. So from about 5 o'clock onwards, the action starts and it builds and builds and builds. But to those that aren't here, what's this night like?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's a night, I think you just said, the action starts at 5 o'clock. It's theatre for the next 3-4 hours. I mean, there can't be many games of the season. What are we? Over an hour until kick-off still? There's a lot of fans in the ground, really. There's a lot of fans outside. So, atmosphere-wise, it starts now. And I think the players probably get a bit of a sense of that as well, especially when they come out to warm-ups. And entertainment-wise, even these low-scoring ones we've had the last few years have been ripping. You've not been able to take your eyes off it. So, if you're a sports fan, you're going to enjoy this. And you know what the really exciting part about today is? 2 weeks' time, we go to Wembley and we play Australia, and then we go to Everton and we do the same. We finish off in Leeds. So this is the big night of the year domestically, but there's so much more left to come. Whether
you're an avid rugby league follower or whether you're a one-time a year that enjoys the action here at Old Trafford, it's one hell of a night. I think the theme has been that Hull KR The romantics, if you're neutral, want Hull KR to win. Hull KR are cagey, but they've got a lot to be positive about. And Wigan, well, they've been here and done it plenty of times before. So we'll see. We're about an hour out from kickoff. This is the Betfred Super League Grand Final.